In the world of professional entertainment wrestling, there is a kind of match which is called as a handicap match. Now, what happens in a handicap match is you've got two people on one side and you've got one person on the other side, and they have a wrestling match. This match between CSK and LSG absolutely seemed like an handicap match because on one side we had Ruturaj Gaikwad and we had Shivam Dube, and on the other side we had the Hulk, the one-man army, Marcus Stoinis, who kind of matched those two blow for blow, and took his side home in the end. We've had 39 matches so far. This has by far been one of the best, the most engaging kind of contest, wherein until that last six from Marcus Stoinis went into the stands, both sides had an equal chance of winning this game. Sarvesh, your thoughts on this nail biter that we've seen today?
Yeah, best game of the season. We have seen teams scoring, crossing 550 runs in a game. We have seen teams scoring 287, 277, and whatnot. But I think this was probably the best game of the season because both the teams were in chance till that final over. And the target was, I mean, let's not forget that a couple of days ago we had a run chase of 222 against, I think it was against, I think, RCB. RCB almost, I think RCB
Yeah.
went almost, they almost chased it down. So I think, but even after that game, I think this game feels like a complete one, probably because of the bowling attack CSK had and the kind of situation LSG were in. So this looked like a very best game of the season so far, like I said. And you don't often see teams defeating CSK in back-to-back games, and especially at Chennai. And today CSK had runs on the board, so I think LSG, this was a very special game for them, I think, and this could very well boost their confidence. And going forward this season, they could very well use this confidence, and they can actually look to cement that their place in that top four, because this was that kind of a game. Because when you defeat CSK like this, it really boosts your morale, and I think they are looking good now.
Yeah, lots to talk about in the game. Lots happened. So we will kind of dissect it all for you. But we've got the summary there for you. CSK batting first, 210 for 4. LSG put them in because they were expecting dew, which came in copious amounts on that outfield. Ruturaj Gaikwad continuing his brilliant form in the tournament. 100 again, 108 of 60 this time, and then ably supported by another man in form in Shivam Dube, 66 of just 27 deliveries. Apart from Matt Henry, nothing home to write about in that bowling card, and then LSG getting to the target halfway through the 20th over. A big, massive thank you from them to Marcus Stoinis with 124 not out in 63 deliveries. Brilliant, brilliant innings. And as Survey said, one of the best games of the season and probably the innings of the IPL so far from Marcus Stoinis because it's come in a run chase. If we look at CSK's batting performance today, for the first time we saw a change. For the last so many games, we've had Rachin at the top of the order. We did discuss about this last time that after that start that he's had to the tournament, his form was just kind of dipping, and we were wondering if he'll get another game before they kind of look for other options. But no, they decided not to go with him. New opening combination of Ajinkya Rahane and Ruturaj Gaikwad and Daryl Mitchell batting at 3. But still, nothing worked out for them until Ruturaj and Shivam Dube got together.
Yeah, I mean, Shivam Dube continuing his form, and 66 from 27, that's just 66 runs from 4.5 overs. And strike rate of 244, 7 sixes. These are not normal numbers, and LSG are a good bowling side. Yes, there were a few weaker performances today, mainly from Yash Thakur, and almost all of the bowlers were looking they had no answers to CSK's acceleration at the end. So it felt like they were just bowling in the same areas, doing the same mistakes again and again. But I think it was brilliant batting from Shivam Dube, because on such at a venue like at Chennai, like, you don't normally see players sitting on a back foot and then hitting those slower ones for the sixes on the leg side, on the offside. I think what Shivam Dube did today, he probably made his announcement that listen, I'm going to be there in the contention list for the World Cup, and you just cannot ignore me. That was the kind of statement that Shivam Dube made. I mean, this was a very special knock from Dube, and I think without that knock, this game would have been over. Like in maybe 17 or 16 overs. That was the magnitude of this game in the context of this game, magnitude of this inning in the context of this game.
Rightly said, Shivam Dube definitely in contention for that middle order spot in the World Cup. But another name who's done his chances no harm is that of Ruturaj Gaikwad. I mean, we talk about Yashasvi Jaiswal being the partner to Rohit Sharma. We talk about Shubman Gill being a partner to Rohit Sharma. And there are thoughts about Virat Kohli opening the batting with Rohit Sharma as well. But with performances like this, Ruturaj Gaikwad definitely should be discussed in that selection meeting when the team's picked for the T20 World Cup as well.
It's difficult to be very honest, because like we discussed, for the same reasons that we are not really looking after Ishan Kishan or KL Rahul. I mean that the similar. I mean it's very unfortunate that these guys are missing out, but I think for now I think it looks very difficult. Yes, this was a very good knock, very good innings, and let's not forget he was captaining the side. So when you captain a team, a new team, not a new team, when you are captain of a team, when you're in a new role and you are playing for that top four position, it was a critical game for them. Playing at your home against your in front of your home crowd. So I think this was a special innings from against Ruturaj. I full credits to him the way he played, where he accelerated at the back end. But I think it's slightly unfortunate that he may not be able to break that door right now. But I mean, he can just keep doing what he is doing right now, and he can. I'm very sure that he will get his opportunities, because let's not forget, Ruturaj Gaikwad has already scored 100 for India as well. So I mean, he's not unknown commodity. He's a class batsman, and I think maybe sometime in future we'll definitely see him.
I think just one more telling stat on that Ruturaj innings is the fact that he lost Ajinkya Rahane early. Then he had a 45-run partnership with Daryl Mitchell, and Daryl Mitchell's contribution in that partnership is of 11 runs of 10 balls. Then Ravindra Jadeja came in. He had another 52-run partnership with Ravindra Jadeja, and Jadeja's contribution in that partnership was only 16 runs. So Ruturaj Gaikwad, Lions' contribution in both those partnerships, keeping the momentum of that innings going until Shivam Dube comes in and then starts helping him out by actually going ballistic in that 12-over mark is when Shivam Dube kind of comes in the picture.
Right.
We often speak about, T20 now is a game where runs need to come from both innings. There is no place for an anchor in T20. In that context, it worked in the last game for Ravindra Jadeja. He got a 50 there. But today again, Daryl Mitchell and he, if you look at both of them, 29 deliveries, 27 runs between them. That's not what you're looking for when you're batting in the middle order, are you?
Yeah, I mean Daryl Mitchell, he got very lucky. That dropped catch, and I think he could have been dismissed twice in the same over. So he was actually lucky to get into double figures, in my opinion. And I think despite that luck element, he could not go on and convert it into a big one. I think he never looked in. I mean, this is a typical Daryl Mitchell innings that we are seeing this season, seeing in this match, that his season has never really kicked off. He has been struggling from game number one, and it's still happening. And I think the CSK made this change today. They got him in place of Rachin Ravindra. So I think they try to bolster their middle order, but I think that is not happening right now, because if you have Daryl Mitchell at 3 and then Ravindra Jadeja at number 4, then you are basically asking Shivam Dube to do all the heavy lifting. And I mean, it cannot come off in every game. I mean, Shivam Dube can also have a bad game every once in a while. So you have to cover for that as well. Now imagine in this kind of a situation, if had Shivam Dube been dismissed in let's say 15 ball 20 or 25. So they would have been in big trouble today. So I think that number 3 and number 4, that spot is not really working out for them. I think they will have to do something about it. They do have resources. They have young players sitting on that bench. They have other players. I think they can still do something about it.
One last comment on that CSK batting card. Mahendra Singh Dhoni, who writes his scripts? Because today he comes into bat with two deliveries left. The crowd goes absolutely ballistic. They don't know whether he's going to get on strike, but on cue, Ruturaj mistimes one, gets a single of the second last delivery. Dhoni comes on strike, whacks the last ball for four, jogs off like he's been doing every single game after he finishes it.
Yeah.
Strike rate of 400. How does he do it again and again every time he comes in?
I think it's something has to be there with his routine. I think he because it looks like he's already batting somewhere and then he's just changing the pitch and just coming in the middle and just doing what he was doing for last 30 minutes. So that's the kind of mindset he's in right now. His body, his fitness is looking very good. I mean, he doesn't look like somebody who is approaching 43rd year. I mean, to be very honest, he looks a lot younger. He looks a lot younger than he is what he is right now. So I think a lot of credit should be given to his fitness and everything that what he has been doing in last 3 4 years because it's not easy. Let's not forget he was retired in 2019. So that's 5 years from now. So I think if you have retired for like 5 years, but you're still keeping yourself fit and ready for every situation in the game, I think you have to give credit to Dhoni. And I think again, I will have same complaint again today. I mean, why didn't he come earlier? I mean, it could have been a difference maker innings. Maybe had they not sent somebody like Jadeja up or Daryl Mitchell up and had Dhoni played those extra 10 15 deliveries, it would have made a difference. This 210 would have looked like a 230, and you don't often really see teams chasing 230. So I think again I will have same complaints. I might sound selfish that Dhoni should bat more, but I think it's just not me. I mean, there are many more people are hoping for this.
Yeah, he's definitely an inspiration, especially for 42-year-olds like me. With I'm doing at the moment is sitting on a chair and talking about the game. But if I could do what MS Dhoni does at this age, I'd be very proud of myself. Well, 210 for four is what they got in their 20 overs. Let's have a look at their LSG's bowling card. When an opposition scores 210, those economy rates at the right hand side are to be expected. But one shining light in all that carnage, as always, Matt Henry. He's been a good pick for them because even in the last game, he bowled 3 overs when he came in and was decently economical. But today, on that wicket, on that kind of score, 28 for one, 4 overs. If it wasn't for him, then things could have been very different.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, so he is coming in as a replacement player for Matt Wood, for Mark Wood. Sorry. So I think whenever any replacement player comes up, and nobody expects that player to have this kind of an impact. I mean, this was still his second game of the season, and I think he has done a decent job. Because let's not forget, he played those 2 games against CSK, a team like CSK, and I think that now I think he has bowled 7 overs, and I think his economy must be around somewhere around 7.5. I think around that or 2.8. So I think he has done a good job. 7 overs in power play against CSK. You have taken a couple of wickets. I think. I think in last match he went wicketless. I'm not sure, but I think still his economy is looking good. He's bowling in that difficult power play phase for them, and they need somebody who can swing the ball earlier. I mean, if because they tried Shamar Joseph and it didn't work out for him. So I think they had to go back. They had to look at somebody like Matt Henry to do that job, and I think he's doing a good job. Like you said, those economical overs will help any side.
Just one quick question on that bowling card. Ravi Bishnoi has been on the Team India radar for a while. He played those T20s against Australia after the ODI World Cup that we had, performed really well in those. But to really make a stake, he just needed
Yeah,
a very strong IPL. Like we know, Kuldeep Yadav's probably one of the names definitely going to the T20 World Cup. That second spinner spot,
yeah.
if Ravi Bishnoi wants to have that boarding pass, he absolutely has to kind of pull up his socks and dish out performances every game, doesn't he?
Yes, absolutely. So even I was surprised at the kind of loose deliveries he's bowling per over. I've never seen him do that. I've been watching him since that under 19 World Cup, and I don't think he has been in this kind of a patch before because he has been a consistent performer for Punjab and now LSG. I think his strength is his speed. He bowls at around 100 kilometers per hour mark, and he is not a big spinner of the ball, but he knows how to keep the batters in check. He's not somebody will give you 2 3 loose deliveries per over. So So I think that's not working out for him. He's leaking too many boundaries right now. On paper, this still looks like a decent economy, 2 overs 19, but I think he bowled way too many loose deliveries today. And I think you rightly said he probably needed a good IPL, but he was in contention. But I think right now it looks very difficult. I think he'll have to go back and work out on some things, some technical details. But I think right now it looks very difficult.
Absolutely. So that was the story as far as the LSG bowling is concerned. In reply, LSG with the bat didn't have the best of starts, lost Quinton de Kock early, um, in a very, very familiar way that we see
Yeah.
him getting out with that angled bat, getting an inside edge. The number of times I've seen Quinton de Kock get out like that, I'm just surprised that he keeps doing that over and over again. You'd think that it's a technical thing that he'd kind of go into the nets and sort.
Yeah.
But once again, we saw him get out like that. KL Rahul started with a bit of a hiss and a bang, but 16 or 14 deliveries, not really doing the job. But this entire innings is the story of just one man and one man called Marcus Stoinis.
Yeah.
As I said, probably why probably the best innings of the
Yeah,
IPL
best
so far,
innings,
definitely.
absolutely best innings of the season, because it
Yep.
came against a quality side like CSK. They had a very good attack, and the kind of form their bowlers were in. Right, I mean, before this game, it didn't look possible. And to be very honest, after that CSK innings, I felt that CSK got maybe 10, 15 runs over par. Probably I was wrong because it looked like the score was par, but I think CSK on 9 out of 10 days would back themselves to defend a total like 210, even with the due factor and even with all those technical details. I think they would still back themselves to defend to 10. So I think something didn't work out there. So I think that's the only worry, and I think uh, Marcus Stoinis, somebody from the commentary panel today mentioned that it seems that LSG fans have just forgotten about him, because it has been about KL Rahul and Nicholas Pooran till now. I mean, these two guys were performing brilliantly, and Marcus Stoinis was kind of playing the second fiddle. But today they need somebody to step up in from the top three. And I tweeted this after that CSK innings. I said that it will need somebody to step up and step up big time. It will need some a personal brilliance, individual brilliance from somebody to chase this total down. And I think it came true. It was indeed individual brilliance from Marcus Stoinis that kept not just kept LSG in the hand. In fact, he won it for them. So I think we were decided to send him at number 3. Well done.
Yeah, I think what happened there is because you had uh, we've always said this, they've tried Devdutt Padikkal there
Yeah.
earlier and it hasn't really worked out. So they kind of don't have a batting position for him. But yeah, that gamble of playing Marcus Stoinis at 3 today, paying off big time. The thing I love most about Marcus Stoinis is his calmness.
Yeah.
He never looks hurried. He never looks under pressure. He takes his time to kind of get set because at the back of his mind, he knows he's got the big shots which can come out at any point of
Anytime.
time,
Yeah.
and he can hit spin and he can hit fast bowlers. So and another thing which is very very impressive about Marcus Stoinis is the way he hits the ball straight. Most of his shots are in the V. He's
Yeah.
got the power. He's got that bat swing, and yeah, just always brilliant to watch when he comes off. Um, they say defeats teach you a lot, but then there's a lot of learning to be done in victories as well.
Yeah.
Um, Devdutt Padikkal at that time coming in at number 4, um, 19 deliveries, which is just over 3 overs for only 13 runs. With the kind of form that Nicholas Pooran has been in the last so many months, um, I was thinking it's a no-brainer, and with the kind of run rate that they needed at that time, I thought it was a no-brainer that Nicholas Pooran would come out. But surprise, surprise, we
Yeah.
had Devdutt Padikkal. Your thoughts on that move by LSG? And look, they won the game,
Yeah.
so they got everything right. But yeah,
Yeah, they got the 2 points, but I think you made a good point there that I think they needed a left and right combination there, because Jadeja and Moeen Ali were bowling, so they needed a left-hander, and then they also uh, wanted that left-hander to take that pressure off against take that pressure off because Jadeja was bowling from one end. So they didn't want Marcus Stoinis to take those risks against Jadeja. So I think they wanted the Padikkal to get in and score some runs against Jadeja. But I think it didn't happen. I don't think he scored runs against Jadeja, and I think he was struggling. 13 from 19 in a 210 chess it's very bad. I was looking at his numbers this season. This was his highest score of the season, and he has I think played 6 or 7 innings already. His strike rate is less than 75 after 6 innings, and he hasn't even crossed 40 runs for the entire season. That tells you the kind of season that he's having. Extremely difficult situation, and I think it didn't make a lot of sense to send somebody like Devdutt Padikkal in that particular situation where he's not getting runs for himself, not for the team, and team needed those quick runs from somebody. So I think it wasn't a good decision to send him up. I mean, if you needed a left and right combination, they probably you could have used Krunal Pandya. Maybe he could have done a better job there. At least he could have done something at run a ball. So I think that that this is something I think uh, that didn't work out for them. But despite that, they had the insurance policy, and name of that policy was Nicholas Pooran. I mean, that insurance policy came in when they required close to 115 runs from 8 overs. So 48 balls, and they needed something around 115 runs. So that was a huge ask, even with the due factor and even with all those things, because CSK had Pathirana's 3 overs. Mustafizur is very effective in such situations. Even his couple of overs were left. So I think it's not easy. It was not easy scoring those runs, and I think we will talk about Marcus Stoinis a lot, and he will be remembered for this innings. But I think without those two cameos from Nicholas Pooran and Deepak Hooda, because let's combine their runs. They have scored 51 runs from 21 deliveries, and look at their strike
Yep.
rates. Strike rates 227 and 283. So this kind of a cameo was needed from somebody when somebody like a Marcus Stoinis was going from one end. So I think it was a very good team effort very good effort from these three guys, and these three guys just got them home.
In fact, I've just done a little calculation here myself. Shivam Dube and Ruturaj Gaikwad scored 174 runs in 87 deliveries,
Right.
both of them put together. Marcus Stoinis, Nicholas Pooran, Deepak Hooda, 175 runs, so one run more in 84 deliveries, in 3 deliveries less,
Wow.
which is how many deliveries were left at the end of the match? Three.
Three.
Those were the 3 deliveries. So they basically scored one run more, which is what you need to do in a game to win it,
Right.
in 3 less deliveries,
Yeah.
and match them basically stroke for stroke.
Yeah.
In many
Fabulous.
ways, both innings were mirror images with in
Yeah.
the middle, you had Daryl Mitchell and Jadeja struggling. Here you had Padikkal and KL Rahul struggling.
Yeah.
But yeah, finally it came down to the brilliance of one man, Marcus Stoinis,
Yeah.
to take the side home.
Yeah.
And as you rightly said,
You said mirror images. I think let's take a look at this. So what I've done, we have just compiled this phases chart,
oh yeah,
and look at this. It is exact. The power play, number of wickets lost, everything looks just exactly same. They scored somewhere around 45, 49, 7 to 10 runs, 7 to 10 over phase was also similar. Then CSK got ahead in that 11 to 15 overs phase. They scored for 15 runs more there, and at the end, LSG scored those 20 runs extra. So they had those phases were pretty equal, but LSG, just when it mattered at the end, they got those extra runs and in very quick time. So yeah, that's where they won the game.
you could also factor that last phase to the fact that CSK had to deal with very heavy dew. And as the
Absolutely.
night gets longer and longer,
Yeah.
the dew factor becomes really effective. And in those last 5 overs, it would have been very difficult to grip that ball,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially for someone like Patirana who's trying to bowl those Yorkers. And for someone like the Fizz, who's trying to bowl his cutters, but if he can't grip the ball and can't really get a good grip of it and it keeps slipping, then there's a chance that he's going to have his lengths not right, which is exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
The bowling effort for CSK, I just remember from memory, there were lots and lots of bowlers used by Ruturaj Gaikwad, like MS Dhoni used to also do. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 bowlers tried in the post-match presentation ceremony. Ruturaj Gaikwad did say that the dew kind of nullified their
Yeah.
spinners, which is why you're seeing that Moeen Ali and Ravi Jadeja only bowling 4 overs. And and that was the reason why they couldn't get the most out of their spinners. Um, in saying that, Deepak Chahar, at the top, bowling really well in the power play. Probably could have tried to get one more over out of him in that power play. Do you think?
Uh, yes, but I think they needed. Probably they were searching for a wicket after searching for extra wicket there, because I felt Deepak Chahar had a case to bowl, like you said, one more over there. But I think they were looking to attack a bit more there, and I think they brought in, I think, Mustafizur Rahman, and I think Tushar Deshpande. In fact, I felt he bowled really well in that power play phase. So I think keeping him on made sense. But I think probably, yeah, you said it rightly. Maybe one more over from Deepak Chahar, because he's most effective in that phase. I mean, later in the innings, I think he's down to cutters and nailing those Yorkers in. So I think, yeah, probably a case for him to bowl one more over.
All the hard work that he did with the ball, he let it go off in the field though, because we
Yeah,
saw some really ordinary efforts by Deepak Chahar.
yeah,
So much so that I'm wondering if he is fully fit, because especially in that last over at that crucial juncture when he was fielding at third man, and they'd actually placed the third man really fine
fine.
because they
Yeah,
were they were anticipating the batter to go there,
yeah,
and yeah, he just couldn't stop the ball, which
yeah,
in the end, I think I read somewhere that there were about 9 runs that he gave away in all. And in a game of fine margins,
yeah.
it's going to be very crucial that you stop all those boundaries and save those runs.
Yeah, he gave away the advantage they got by restricting the Padikkal's innings. I think he scored 19, 13 from 19, so I think that's where they gain advantage. But these 9 to 10 extra runs, I think they just nullified that advantage that they got. So I think, yeah, you rightly said. And it was again, I think Dew was again a factor, because I could see players just sliding in for
Slipping and
meters.
siding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone was just sliding. I think that was a factor, but again, you expect these guys to do better even in these situations. I mean, these are the levels that are set for a tournament like IPL. So I think, yeah, this can happen, but I think a bad day in the office for Deepak Chahar for sure.
One last comment on that bowling card. Patirana, we've known about his skills and his pace and his accuracy and all of those.
Yeah,
And, even in a game of 10.5 runs per over, he's gone at 8.75, picked those 2 wickets, absolutely making Devdutt Padikkal look like an absolute amateur with
yeah,
his, and I'm a bit surprised the way Devdutt Padikkal played that shot also, because his feet were
yeah,
going down the leg side, which is an indication that he's a bit scared of the pace,
yeah,
and the technique's not really right. But in those last overs, because he bowled 2 of the last 4,
yeah.
but just couldn't get the job done today for his side.
I think he bowled well even in these situations, and he got the all important wicket of Nicholas Pooran. Let's not forget that, because that was a very critical wicket for them. And I think LSG, I think in my opinion, they managed this game beautifully. They so in last 5 overs, that 16th over was bowled by Shardul Thakur. I think, yeah, it was a 16th over which was bowled by him, and I think after that there were 2 overs left for Matisha Patirana and 2 over for Mustafizur Rahman. So I think they felt that, okay, now once the 16th over is done, they will probably go to their specialist bowlers for those last 4 overs, and it didn't work out, because that over from Shardul Thakur, he leaked a lot of runs. And I think this is where LSG was smart. They knew that they cannot take too many risks against Patirana. So they covered those runs against somebody like a Shardul Thakur. So they got those runs there in the back, and then they targeted Mustafizur Rahman, and that six again by Stoinis against him, that straight six. I think it was a statement. So I think they calculated this game very well. They took extra risks against the other bowlers, and they just managed Pathirana well, and they just didn't look to give him too many wickets, even though Nicholas Puran took chances against him. But I think it was needed at that time. But I think the way they managed those overs from Pathirana, I think that's where I think they won this game.
The Lord did have an off day today. He did catch that all important catch of Nicholas Pooran, but as you said, yes, one of his overs being taken toll of. Um, in a way, if you look at the game, Marcus Stoinis is kind of pulling a leaf out of Mahendra Singh Dhoni's book,
Yeah,
taking it deep. And then once you take it deep, and the deeper you take it, the pressures
is
just
on the
goes
bowler.
on the field, is on the
Exactly.
bowler and the fielding side. And in the end, the dew came in. So yeah, all of that working in his favor. But a
Yeah.
very tactical, a very strategic, and a very
Yeah.
well thought out innings by Marcus Stoinis.
I'll just
All right,
repeat
there we.
one
Yep.
line from Sidhu Paji. In the commentary box, he said this I think at least 5 times today. He said, "किस्मत हमेशा पागलों का साथ देती है." So I think he was referring to Stoinis as pagal because that's how he went about his innings today. And I think he had his share of luck, but I think he wasn't just lucky. He was playing very well. I think he deserved that luck. That was the kind of feeling that I got it from him. So I think I mean that described his inning beautifully.
Absolutely. Could trust Sidhu Paji to come up with all those one-liners. Right, what does this do to our league table? Um, There we have it. They've switched sides now. Chennai was in fourth, Lucknow was in fifth. Now Chennai is in fifth, Lucknow's in fourth. Both playing 8 matches, but obviously Lucknow with those back-to-back wins now with 10 points, a decent net run rate.
Yeah.
So in fourth place. I mean, look, we've spoken long and hard about how if they have Mayank Yadav firing, then they've got a real chance in this tournament. But without him
Yeah.
also, they are a very decent side and they're looking good.
Yes, absolutely. So, like I mentioned yesterday, this was a 4-pointer because LSG didn't just win those 2 points. They didn't just got those 2 points. They also prevented CSK from taking those 2 points away. So I think this is that's end of the day. It has made a difference of 4 points for LSG. So I think now they are at fourth position. CSK are at 5, but CSK have now lost 4 games out of the 8 games that they have played. And then look at Gujarat, same number of points, same number of games played. So they are even Stevens, number 5, number 6. They have done exactly the same. They have got exactly the same number of points from the same number of games. And Gujarat is not having a great season, is what our general perception is. And now they are equal on par with Gujarat. So that tells you kind of, I mean, the last 2 games against LSG, it has slightly derailed their season, CSK season. So I think they will have to do some work. They will have to think hard and come back with the answers. But I think for now, you rightly said, without Mayank Yadav, they played these 2 games. I felt they would rush Mayank Yadav against this for this too critical game against CSK, but that did not happen. They allowed Mayank Yadav to recover completely, and without him, they are winning this game. So I think winning this game. So I think a lot is happening. I mean, a lot of things are ticking for them, and I think LSG are going to be a very formidable side, like I mentioned, because now they have got that confidence. Their tail is up.
Absolutely. Now you spoke about Gujarat, who's equal on points with Chennai,
Yeah,
but Gujarat have their own chance tomorrow to dislodge Chennai from
yeah,
that fifth spot because they are in action against DC tomorrow.
yeah.
And what can we expect from this encounter, Sarvesh?
I think see DC they will just look to take one game at a time because DC are at number eight
Eight.
position, same number of points as Mumbai Indians. So even they have something to gain from this game. They can go to number 7 position because they're no. In fact, if they win this game, they can actually
If
go
they
to number
win,
6. Exactly,
yeah,
because
but
Gujarat's net
yeah,
run rate is bad. So there
yep.
is plenty to gain for even Delhi. So I think even they are not out mathematically. So again, a good, very important game for Delhi as well. For Gujarat, if they win this game, they will be in 5th position. So I think both this,
No, but if Delhi win, they
yeah,
might actually push
yeah,
Mumbai to sixth
yeah,
position because
yeah.
Mumbai's net run rate actually is better than Delhi. So they might do Mumbai a favor by winning tomorrow and pushing them up.
No, because Mumbai have got same number of points. So if
Oh,
Delhi
they're only on
wins,
six.
yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, they'll be on 8 points. Sorry, my
yes,
bad.
yes,
Yep.
yes, yes. So Delhi, if they win, they can go to number 6, and they can actually put Gujarat down to number 7. Then Mumbai will again go down to 8, and I
Yeah.
think, and if Gujarat win, they will be in that top 5. So I think plenty to gain for both the teams. Looking
Yeah.
at the recent form, both teams have managed to win only 2 games out of the last 5 matches. And historically speaking, I mean, those numbers, those numbers look pretty bad. I mean, because of that last game played in Ahmedabad, yeah,
Yeah.
which DC won very comfortably. That's the reason this number is looking bad. But I think 2 wins, 2 wins for Delhi, 2 wins for Gujarat. Still pretty very early days in this rivalry because Gujarat is a new team. And then looking at the history of this venue, uh, till now they have only played 1 game at Delhi. So I think we still don't know what to expect from that ground, from that pitch. And that game was where SRS scored 266. So I think we don't know what
Yep.
to expect now.
266 beat 199 in that game. That was the game where Travis 100 got that brilliant 100. Yeah, so lots to look forward to for both teams tomorrow. Anything else to touch base on, Sarvesh, before we call it a night tonight?
No, I think I think we are good. I think we had a like we did just discussed probably best game of the season. And I think it was very refreshing to see the kind of pullback LSG made at the end. So yeah, it was a very good game.
Yeah, such games definitely do energize you and keep you interested. Well, that's all that we have today. If you haven't subscribed to the Sneakometer podcast, do so immediately so that every time we come up with some new content, you'll get a notification. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Insta, and keep giving us your feedbacks. We do try and inculcate as much as we can. We'd love for those that feedback to be positive. We love feedback when it comes, and yeah, we'll try our best to do better every time we come in front of you. Until tomorrow, until that game between GT and DC, this is Rahul and Sarvesh signing off from the Secopita podcast. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.